Big Blue Thumb Productions presents the Podlie Podcast. Here's your hosts, Podlie Bill, Podlie Cliff, and Podlie Paul.
And hello there, everybody. It is Epi 152. And saying of two, there's only two of us. Only two of us.
Two to tango.
Here
A lot more room around here.
Hello there, Marvin. Marvin gets the 3,500 points. So we'll wait for everybody to start coming in. We'll be minus Mr. Cliff tonight as he is working.
Life gets in the way, boys and girls. Life gets in the way.
He's working the next 3 nights on a photo shoot for the company that he works for, Smart Photography. So he was unable to attend here this evening.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I just like I'm in a suit jacket. I just got off the ball diamond with my my soon-to-be 11-year-old boy, and I was I was flinging him. You know,
This is the second time you've shown up in
I know.
your suit jacket to the Podlie podcast because you've run off the baseball field.
I went straight from work.
Yeah.
To pick up my son.
Yeah.
To the ball diamond, to the podcast for you and for you and for me, and I love it. But yeah.
There you go.
So, by the way, thank you for my dinner.
You're welcome. The cookies are
Yes.
here. You can't see them on camera, but
Fine.
I do have the cookies here.
My
So
Monday night dinner.
yeah,
Bill graciously.
chocolate chip oatmeal. I bake those.
Yes.
I spend my whole day
did-
baking.
Did you? No, you
for you.
didn't. You lying sack. These are from a bag.
No, they don't come in a bag. They actually come in a plastic container.
Still good. Thanks. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, buddy.
So I do buy them fresh. Let's
Thanks.
say that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. And how was your week up until this one?
I've seen the inside of my son.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You had a
Never start a conversation with that. I've seen the inside of my son.
an injury.
Friday night, his last hockey game of the, well, I guess what, spring season,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's built, dude, he's playing the game of his life. He's knocking him around. He's blocking shots. He had a breakaway. He scored a goal. He was playing the game of his life. Takes a slap shot off the ankle. And for those that don't know hockey, like the skate, the molding, there's no padding there, baby, and it's right on the bone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So spent Friday night in the stollery. Nothing structural. He is on crutches.
Yeah.
So nothing broken, nothing
That's good.
fractured. But it was big like a balloon.
I'm sure it swelled right up. Did it swell up while the skate was on, or as soon as you took the skate off?
As soon as the
As soon as they
skate
took the
came
skate
off,
off, it went?
you
Yeah.
betcha. You betcha. So he's still on crutches. He's going to be on crutches for the week,
Mhm.
at least.
Wow.
God love the stall. Can I say that again? God love you, the stollery. Like, we are just so blessed. We're so blessed. They were amazing. They
Mhm.
were. I'm not going to mention the wait time because everywhere it's bad. Everywhere it's bad. But they were brilliant. They're brilliant. So, yeah. So that was, and then it is what it is. So if it's not baseball, it's hockey. If it's not
There you
hockey,
go.
it's baseball. What's going on with you?
There you go. Again, just kind of a steady, week working away on the Ravenwood Music Festival, and we're on the home as of today, as of this podcast tonight, which is, what's the date today? May 29th. Is
Yeah.
that right? So we're 25 days away.
You got her, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Got your tickets yet?
25 days away.
Tickets
So
yet?
we're not far. The countdown is on. If you're watching the Ravenwood social media, if you haven't liked the Ravenwood Music Festival Facebook page, you should do that, because every day there's a couple of posts going up. So James Joffrey, who is our social media manager, the director of social media, is amazing, and he puts up these fantastic posts all the time, every single day, 7 days a week. He's putting up new posts.
He's talented. He's diligent. He's
very
we love him.
very humorous posts
Love
at
him.
times as well.
Love him. Love him. Love him.
Yeah. So anyway, coming up 25 days away, and we're getting closer and closer. So we're ramping up and wrapping up all the kind of last minute things we have to get done.
Yeah,
for
not
the
to be
festival.
outdone. We gotta give a shout out to Jeremy.
And the Beaumont
We
Blues
gotta
Festival.
give a shout out
Yeah.
to Jeremy. Beaumont Blues and Roots Fest is the weekend before the Ravenwood. Don't ask me to do math. I think that's the 16th and 17th.
It is the 16th and 17th. Yes, it is.
Headlining is
Finger 11 on Saturday night.
Finger 11.
They also have Fifi Dobson on Saturday night.
Fifi Dobson. Guys, I don't know about you, but I've got I'm doing Pigeon Lake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing
That's in August.
Edmonton Folk.
That's in August.
I'm full on music, so get your tickets, guys. Get your tickets. Support live music.
Yeah, for sure. So Marvin is the only one that has commented. So Marvin, you've been stuck with the 3,500 points here tonight. Everybody seems to be late this Monday night joining us. So
it is so nice out.
Yeah,
it is so nice out.
It poured rain here earlier today.
Yeah, but not for very long.
So we had a good thunder and lightning storm. It was probably about a half an hour, so not long, but it was dark, thunder, lightning, pouring rain, the whole bit, and then it stopped.
We got it, and I got it about 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at my work window, and I'm thinking, yeah, there's going to be no ball tonight, and it was beautiful tonight.
Yeah,
beautiful.
So that's what we were thinking. Maybe there would be no. My grandson plays baseball as well, and he had a game tonight, and thought earlier this afternoon maybe it wasn't going to happen, but it was all good to go. Yeah. So
I keep on bugging Ja. Pick an indoor sport, Ja. Pick an indoor sport, buddy.
Yeah.
Because Beck's been sidelined 3 times. 3 times has they been canceled?
Game wise,
yeah.
Probably at least 2, maybe 3.
I think it's been 3 for
like
Ja.
you said, they played this. They had a makeup game last night,
Yeah.
Sunday night, that they had to do. So they did that and back out. He usually plays games Mondays and Wednesdays. So and then hockey Thursday nights.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So
game on.
Game on for sure. So anyway, like I said, we're waiting for you all to join and say hi to us. Somebody's got to at least come in second place and third place tonight.
Are you finished? Are you ready for Florida?
We're all ready for Florida, so that will be coming up in the next little while, and we're all ready for that as well. William Kirkland, normally you're in first. What happened tonight? You're in second. So
you got transported to second.
2,500 points for William.
Mr. Kirkland, love it.
Yeah,
nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Good to see you here.
So you guys are all packed?
No, not packed, but we.
We're passports.
We've got all that basically ready to go. Yeah, we're gonna hang out in Disney World a little bit.
How many times have you been to Disney World?
Never been. This will be the first time.
You've never been to Disney World?
No, this will be the first time.
OMG.
Yeah. So
cool.
First time.
I can't comment it. I was a kid. So I was a kid. I don't remember. It's big. I remember it being really, really big.
There's 4 parks that we're going to. So
yeah, I remember it being really, really big.
It will be busy. We're only there for a few days, then I have to work. So
in Florida?
Yes.
Is it a work holiday?
It is.
I think I probably knew that.
There for a conference. So
I knew that.
Marvin is right. Maybe because it is election night, everybody's distracted. So for those of you that maybe are tuned in that are not in Alberta, we're having a election happening here right now. So the results, the polls just closed all of about 8 minutes ago. So it is election night. So that could be where a lot of our audience is gone. That's not where Cliff is. If you just joined us, Cliff is actually working tonight. So he's not. It's not because of the election.
He
that
is not here. One of the electorates.
No,
he is not.
No. So he had to work tonight. He works for a really good photography company in the city, plugged to Smart Photography, and he has to work the next 3 nights doing a photo shoot for an organization.
Did you vote for in advance?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I voted in advance.
Yeah, my daughter Chelsea voted today, but my wife Chai and my other daughter, we voted in advance last week.
Yeah. In and out. I was in and out in 15 minutes.
Yes. Well, I think you voted
in the park
at the mall.
I did.
That's where we did our advance.
I did. I came right from that meeting. I went right from that meeting to Sherwood Park Mall.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
We were in and out quick too. It was busy, but it didn't take long. Like we were through and did our vote, and we're out of there really quick. Again, Sherwood Park Mall for sure. So
I didn't see your name on the ballot.
No, I decided not to run it last minute.
I got it. I got that.
Yeah, I just decided there's going to be the Podlie ballot.
The Podlie ballot.
Yeah, but For some reason, the full thing didn't get in, and I'm not sure why.
Go figure. I guess we can't run the.
We're gonna have the Podlie party.
Guess we can't run the province.
It was gonna be the Podlie party.
The Podlie party.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Do I have to wear clothes?
Maybe not. Well, that's to be determined, I guess. So maybe next election we'll have the Podlie party.
So right now, the next election, we are going to have the Podlie party. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Would you vote for me if I did wear clothes or didn't wear clothes?
I guess it depends what our platform for the Podlie party is.
Clothes. That's the platform.
Clothes and cookies.
And cookies and cookies.
Cookies needing
cookies.
So that would have to be something that cookies would have to be supplied at all cabinet meetings.
Crumbs would chafe.
Yeah, but if you're at a cabinet meeting,
oh, that's true.
Cookies should be there.
That's true.
That's part of
cookies should be there.
That platform.
Cookies should be there.
Should be there. So, Marvin, you voted after work today. No waiting. That's good to hear. Yeah, my daughter voted today as well out at one of the schools that are out by our place, and she said, "Well, it was busy. She moved through really quick, so it wasn't a long wait." So, yeah, it could be a small audience tonight. Everybody's paying attention to the election results. So Paul and I are here, and we'll keep you entertained for the next 40. What are we? Oh,
not that we're not excited and interested about the election. I gotta be honest with you, brother. I kind of forgot about. I thought about it this morning.
Yeah.
Then work and everything just got busy, so forgot about it. I walked into your house and you had it on your telly, so
yeah,
I just kind of remembered. So
yeah, so we'll try and keep you, for those of you that are here, entertained. For those of you that are not here, and we always say this at the end of the show, but I'll say it now, you can watch us again. So you can go to YouTube, our YouTube channel. And by the way, we got a couple more subscribers this week, so we want to keep that up. We want to keep getting more subscribers. I'd like to see if we can hit 40 by early June. I know.
Hey, is Marv coming? Marv, you coming to Ravenwood, by the way?
Yes, he is. He'll be there filming and doing some drone shots for us and the whole bit. So yes, Marvin will definitely be there doing a little bit of photography as well, along with a couple other photographers that have volunteered. So
cool. That
will all be good. Well, hey, we do have a topic tonight, and I don't know how long this topic will last based on how many people that we have. But let me bring that topic up and show it to you. So it is, do you believe in the Loch Ness Monster, Sasquatch, the Ogo Pogo, which is apparently some type of creature that's in the Lake Okanogan?
It's the Canadian Loch Ness Monster.
It is
what it is.
Yeti or other creatures. Yeti being similar to that of a Sasquatch, but a Yeti is almost like, I guess, an abominable snowman, so white in color apparently, and things like that. So, yeah. Marvin says he'll be there, DSLR drone and 360 cameras. That's awesome. So anyway, that's kind of our topic. So I kind of wanted to, so here's, I'm going to put this up. So here's a picture that was taken years ago of the supposed Loch Ness Monster or creature. So whether or not, I know there's been a lot of talk about this photo as to whether, hello there, Nicole. Good to see you. Good to see you here. I think all aliens that come by I think they're all aliens. Marvin says. Well, maybe.
Marv. Unlike aliens, also known as family, they sometimes overstay their welcome as well and are still here. So they don't usually leave and go back to their planet, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They've made their homes here, apparently.
Could be. Yeah. So this photo is an older photo that was
50s.
That was taken 50s or 60s. 50s. And they don't think they've ever proven whether or not it is an actual photo or a hoax. I don't think it was ever proved.
Never.
That. So Nicole says she does believe in Loch Ness Monster and Ogo Pogo. So this picture that I have up, I'm assuming that you then believe in that photo. Then I've got another one here. So this is, and that's not a great photo, so it might be harder to see.
That one is so famous. Dude.
That's the original one from back in the late 60s, early 70s. That was taken by this gentleman of supposed Sasquatch walking along a treat area here.
So I watch a lot of these Discovery. I'm a Discovery Channel guy. I love it. I love
I
it.
watch
I love
Expedition Bigfoot.
it. Huge. I'm all over it. I'm all over it. These are actual. There's actual names of these photos. They're so famous, and don't ask me what they are. They're named after the photographer. So it's the whatever, the Hookalack photo, the Roberts photo. That's what it is. The Roberts photo. And they've been around for years and years and years, and that's exactly what they're called. For those of you that haven't seen them, they're uber famous, very easy to find. So
now there was a documentary on I was watching maybe just even last week about Loch Ness, looking for the Loch Ness, and it was a newer documentary that was done, and what they were saying in some testings that they had done. So this one group of scientists took water tests, so they dropped these devices down because that lake is 750 feet deep. It's one of the deepest lakes in the world.
Yep.
So they dropped these devices down to get water samples, which they were going to test for DNA, because the DNA that they could get would show the different types of DNA that are living in that lake. So they got the results back, and the DNA came back with a lot of your standard fish and things like that. All that sort of stuff. Was a small percentage of unknown DNA, and also that lake is very full of eels. So it's a lake that has a lot of eels in it.
Freshwater eels,
different sizes and large sizes. So what some people are saying, that some of the pictures that may have been put up by people are actually the back of large eels that are swimming on the top of the lake, and then they head back down. So that's always an option. Now, that's not saying I don't believe. I think there's something there. So many people have said they've seen something, and whether it's an eel that they've seen or not, I'm not exactly sure. I'm probably more toward the Sasquatch, believing that I think there is something like that out there. And you watch Expedition Bigfoot. So
Love it.
If you've not seen that show, so there's one of the people on that show. It's a group of people. There's a ex-military guy who's also a survivalist. There's a doctor there, and she is a doctor of primates. So similar of that to, and the name just slipped I was just going to bring up the name, and it slipped right to who studied the gorillas. Her name just slipped my mind, and they actually
Diane Fossey.
No, it wasn't Diane Fossey. It's a different name. It is somebody could Google the famous primate doctor who studied gorillas. And she didn't have even have a degree.
The Gorillas in the Mist girl.
Yes. So she was actually on Expedition Bigfoot. I don't know if you saw that, but they brought her on, and she talked with the doctor on an interview they had, and they were asking her, like, what is your thoughts? You studied gorillas for all these years. Do you think there is such thing as a Bigfoot? And she feels that, yes, there is Bigfoot and Yeti out there, even though we've not officially, like all these years that the Bigfoot have been talked about right back into the 17, 1800s, when our indigenous community would talk about Bigfoot sightings and all this kind of thing. There has been not one officially that's actually been caught. There's been a couple of hoaxes where they've tried to say, oh, we caught a Bigfoot, and then you find out that it's really not a Bigfoot.
Nicole loves this topic. She says, yes, I truly do believe in the Loch Ness Monster, the Ogo Pogo. She says, I'm sure that there are all of these, the Sasquatch and the Yetis. I mean, I don't think you could dream something like this up. That would be one giant eel with an extremely long neck full of solid bones in order to stick their neck up so far.
Yeah, definitely based on that picture that I showed for sure, Nicole. But there have been a lot of pictures too of what looks like a back coming up out of the water. And those ones are a little harder to prove. And that's why some people are saying, no, those are those large eels that apparently swim in that lake. They even talk about on this documentary about some freshwater sharks that might have come into that lake as well.
If sturgeon are prehistoric, they're
ugly.
And they're and big and really big.
Yeah.
Why can't there be other prehistoric? I mean, sharks, prehistoric. For all intents and purposes. Why can't there be others? I mean, I don't have
Jane Goodall. Sorry.
Jane Goodall.
That's who I was.
Jane Goodall.
Was trying to talk about that. They did the interview with on Expedition Bigfoot, where they actually talk to her about it.
She's fascinating.
Yeah.
She's fascinating.
And I find sometimes I watch Expedition Bigfoot probably more than any other Bigfoot show that I've watched. And I think they have a new season coming. I'm not sure, but anyway, they're in, is it California Force? They've been in Oregon, Redwoods, and going back
they've been down the east
deep
coast
in the bush
too.
So they find a lot of footprints.
Yep.
They find a lot of different weird things, like what looks like, for lack of better words, a camp, if you want to call it that, a Bigfoot bed or lair, or the way trees have been pushed together, etc. They've found areas where there's piles of bones, deer bones and things like that. So I don't think a bear does that. Would a bear pile its bones in one area?
Bears just have dens and caves, do they not?
They do. Now a bear standing on its hind legs, a black bear, could easily touch to 6.5, 7 feet on its hind legs. But
listen to us, the biologists that we are.
Yeah. So I guess the thing is, and again, same on Expedition Bigfoot, it always seems like they're a step behind, right? Like they hear a sound and it's like the Bigfoot howl or whatever. Or then they see something in the bush and they'll show footage on the show. It looks like eyes watching them and then they're gone.
Yeah, but that I don't dig that part. That's theatrics. That part's theatrics.
Well, yeah, it could be, and they put out trail cameras because they get.
Oh, I like that. Those are cool.
But the trail cameras don't pick up anything.
No.
The one gentleman on that show, who is the ex-military guy survivalist, had these little, a chip that you can monitor. So it's got it's like you put on an animal for an instant if you want to track it.
Yep.
And so he had a bunch of these. So he put them into trees. Again, I don't know if you saw that episode.
Nope.
So he puts them into trees because at a high enough rate. Because what will happen is if an animal walks by, it's like Velcro.
Yeah.
It sticks onto the animal.
Yeah.
And then you can track that animal.
Track them.
So he put it out in an area where they found what they think were Bigfoot tracks, etc. And sure enough, the tracker disappeared. So he started tracking.
Cool.
And to a point where even it shows him in his tent one night as he's getting ready to lay down, and his phone notifies him that it's close by. So he quickly got up and got out of bed with the camera guy. Come on, we got to track this thing. So of course they're tracking it, and they're getting close and close to a point where it's showing on the phone they're right there, but there's nothing around. The camera guy's in the tree, and they're looking in the tree. It's nothing. It's dark. They've got big flashlights looking around, and then they look down, and there it is. It's laying on the ground with it had been whatever had
already been dropped, or had been
dropped and knocked it off.
Knocked it off, yeah.
And so again, without knowing exactly what that is, and I know I've seen them take DNA from footprints and stuff on that show, the big footprints they find, to try and see if there's a difference. And I think some of that DNA, from what I've seen, has come back like a primate DNA. So it's hard to say. Right?
Well, so like a primate DNA, but inconclusive.
I think they've kind of still been inconclusive with it, but definitely not. It wasn't like deer or bear or anything like that. So
yeah, but Bigfoot's supposed to be. So correct me if I'm wrong. Bigfoot is supposed to be all primate, or some primate, some human. So if there be DNA coming back, it would be primate/human DNA.
Maybe.
Would it not?
I don't. Again, that's the
thing.
Where
I'm going with that.
We don't know, because I don't know if there's ever been an official DNA reading that's come out to say, "Oh, this is definitely Bigfoot."
I totally get involved in one of those expeditions.
Going through the bush at night,
dude. The thing that I wouldn't do is ghosts. Wouldn't do ghosts.
You don't want to be on, like Ghost Hunters or anything.
No chance. I wouldn't do ghosts. Nope.
But hey, you're in the middle of the bush like they are, and it's pitch black, and you're going through, and you hear loud noises. Like there have been times on Expedition Bigfoot, and this is the thing that gorillas will do, and I think chimpanzees and things as well, as they will throw things at people because they don't want you getting close, and they're trying to say, "Hey, I'm here. You're getting in my territory. Don't get close," because and so it has happened even on Expedition Bigfoot, where there's
you've seen them do it in zoos. You've seen them do that at zoos,
where they're in the trees and there's all this noise, and all of a sudden a stick will come flying out, or a rock might come flying out. So there's something back there throwing it. A bear's not throwing that.
Bear's not throwing it.
So whether it is a Sasquatch, or whether there's some version of a gorilla that lives in those trees that is hides. One of the things they asked Jane Goodall is, well, how come you never find like a dead one, or bones of a dead
See,
one
I
in
don't
the
get
bush.
that either. What was her answer?
Like if you're walking through the bush,
Yeah.
and she feels that the Sasquatch species, and this could be the same for a Yeti or whatever, are very, very smart. So they are the type of animal, I guess, primate, that, like a chimpanzee who makes its own, weapons and tools, or gorillas, same thing. But that Sasquatch are so smart that they know how to stay hidden. They don't want to be found. They're like almost a shy type of an
Yeah,
animal.
but you gotta think they're gonna be.
So they hide their
even as
bones
an
of their dead.
accident.
Yeah, they hide the bones of their dead. But then you're right. If one was to die while walking down a trail,
Yeah,
and fall over, where does it go?
I don't know.
Does a bear drag it off and eat it, or?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Like,
That's the thing. I recognize that they might be highly intelligent. I recognize that they might take care of their dead. I recognize that they might bury their dead. I recognize that they might. I recognize that. But the fact of the matter is, accidents still happen. And to your point, you said to me, Paul, you'd like to go out there in the middle of the dark, going through trees, going through bushes. What tripping hazards, falling down a ravine,
come to an edge of a cliff and not see it.
I mean, they're not, they got it, they're done. They got it.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to have an expiration date too.
Well, yeah. And they're big, right? Like they're supposed to be any sightings.
My point is there's something has to have been found.
Well, they're supposed to be 7 or 8 feet tall, at least 8 feet. From all the people who said they have seen them, they're like 8 feet tall. They're like 1,000 pounds or whatever. Like they're huge.
Yeah.
They walk upright. Again, like this picture here, which again is we don't know if. I don't think that picture's been fully proven as a hoax. I do know that the guy that took it was later on charged with fraud or something along the lines.
Is that right?
But that being said, I don't think they were ever able to prove that this was not.
But if the guy was charged with fraud, would that not be a?
You never know, right? Like I don't have the close-up of that picture here, but there are some close-ups. So it's really hard to say. People have said, that's somebody in a suit, right? But
who the hell would do that? I don't.
There's been people that have been the people that have pulled it off, right? They have done hoaxes like that, UFO hoaxes. They've done Sasquatch hoax. Well, I saw a Sasquatch, and then you later find out it wasn't. It was a buddy hiding in the trees wearing, some sort of fur to look like it, right? Yeah. But things like when you see all these big footprints and stuff like an expedition.
I just watched. Sorry to interrupt you. I just watched, kind of on topic, off topic. I just, in terms of fraudulent activity, I just watched something on the Roanoke colony, and that's the Virginia colony
that disappeared. And all the buildings
1500s.
I watched that as well.
And they're called the Dare Stones. The Dare Stones, and what's her name? Dare was supposed to have left. This is the 1500s. She was supposed to have left a whole bunch of dozens and dozens of stones,
saying where they
are, right?
Yeah.
And the Dare Stones have since been disproven.
Yes, they were frauds.
They have been proven as fraudulent.
Yes.
So it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen. That in and of itself, the Roanoke colony is fantastic. Although it's an American mystery, it's still fascinating.
Yeah, and people are still trying to figure
JFK is fascinating.
They're still trying to figure it out. Yeah. So, but with Sasquatch, there is film and things out there that people have taken. I saw one where these guys were up on a mountain. I think they had gone up to go skiing. I can't remember which mountain range it was, but they were quite high up. So it was mountain skiing that they were doing. And one of the guys looked down and saw this figure walking quite a ways down in a valley, down by trees. And he looked twice. He kind of yells at his buddies, look at, what is that? Is that a Sasquatch? So they quickly started to film with their phone because it was walking upright way down by these trees. It was further out, than they could arranged. You zoom in with your phone, it gets all fuzzy, which is the other issue. You get so many of these film clips from everybody, and they're all blurry and fuzzy.
What the heck is up with that?
So like,
buy a good camera.
Yeah, and the cameras on even cell phones are really good right now, so you can focus.
So there's no excuse.
I never understand why they always come in so blurry and fuzzy on all of these. I've got this Sasquatch, and you're looking, it's all blurry and fuzzy. Can't you see it?
I don't get it.
You can't see it. So, but anyway, that one looked real. Like, I don't know how you wouldn't hoax that one, because why would you have guys way up on a mountain up here, but then this thing is walking like way down here in the
Way
valley?
down
So you're going
there.
to dress your buddy up and say, here, you hike
Hey,
down. It's going to be a 4-hour
You
walk.
go 1,500 feet south.
Yeah, and it's
That's
going to be
not
a
gonna-
4-hour walk down there, and then we'll call you and we'll tell you to start walking.
That's right. It'll be really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll
And then
love it. It'll be
we're going to
great.
send it in. Everybody's going to think it's a Sasquatch.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay. True story.
You saw one.
No. Okay, so true story. This is, and I think I've told this either on one of our other audio endeavors or on the Podlie or whatever. I've told this story.
You saw the Loch Ness.
No.
The Ogo Pogo.
No. Stop. No. You've heard this story before.
Yeah.
Before, and I've grown up with this legitimate story since I was knee high. My mom and dad always told me this story. My mom and dad have forever and ever and ever. I'm the oldest. Even before I was born, they did camping. They did camping ever since my mom and dad were first married.
It's glamping now, but yeah.
It's glamping now. It was tenting before.
Yeah.
So they're in, I want to say, David Thompson country camping. This is before 75 because I wasn't born yet. So they were with my dad's youngest brother camping. And I think it was David Thompson country, they said. So it's at night. They're driving down, true story. This is, I've always grown up with this. And there's a guy on the side of the road. Well, it's my mom, my dad, and my uncle.
Right.
So my mom and my dad, they stopped the car. There's a guy alongside the road. My dad gets out because my dad's a big boy. He's 6'3". He doesn't, So, and as the story goes, the guy was abso-freaking-lutely terrified. There's the wife in their car, truck, whatever, along the side of the road. And my dad went up to the guy. The guy was absolutely terrified. My dad has sworn, I'm 48. He has sworn up and down for 48 years. The man on the side of the road said something humongous just walked on 2 feet right in front of us like 5 minutes ago.
Wow.
5 minutes ago. I have grown up with that. My parents swear by it. It's kind of a family folklore. My mom and dad never saw anything after that. It was, I don't know.
And this was later at night, so it was dark.
It was at night. It was dark. The man and the woman along the side of the road were absolutely terrified. Absolutely terrified. And that's the end of the story. I never asked what happened after. My mom and dad never specifically saw anything. But I've lived with that story for 48 years.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad, they don't even chuckle. It's not a story of when we were kids to before bedtime. They swear up and down this happened to them.
Yeah.
So
well, and there have been a lot of sightings of Sasquatch, apparently crossing roads at night, and some of the smaller, like, dual lane highways or whatever.
Yep.
If you're going up into like a campground
Yep.
late at night or something like that,
Yep.
where people have seen something big cross the road and on 2 feet. So it's not a bear. Bear is usually not going to cross the road walking on its hind legs. So actually, again, here I go back to Expedition Bigfoot. So if you've not seen it, it's on the Discovery Network. But I know
love it, by the way.
They caught one gentleman caught some video of what, like, you could see like a shadow, something going big, and he had cameras on his car specifically for that. And he caught something where you can see it going across late at night in the dark. Quickly, it's fast, right? It's going across. It definitely wasn't a deer for sure. It was bigger, definitely bigger than that, and it looked like it was on 2 feet. So there's got to be things out there. Like, there's so many dense forest areas that we have around this world.
I don't know statistics. I'm not a biologist, but they find new species every year, every day. Every day they do. I mean, most of them are little itty bitty, microscopic crustaceans or little. I mean, they find different spiders, different species of spiders all the time. All the time they do. Different species of frogs all the time, right? Just because these things are so small, what's to say, right?
Yeah.
What's to say?
Well,
I don't know.
And like I said, there's so many dense forest areas that, for humans to get areas that, that for us to get in as a human, it's tough. You're not going to be going up there just to hike in some of these areas, right?
What's the urban legend that freaks you out the most?
urban legend that
What's
freaks
the
me out.
urban legend that freaks you out the most? Like, OMG, that is totally. Ghosts do it for me. I truly, completely, 100% believe in ghosts. I absolutely believe in ghosts. I have not had any firsthand experience, although I do believe that ghosts are energy, and energy doesn't just dissipate. It just doesn't pop, and it doesn't turn into nothing. It's got to be something. So I do believe in ghosts, but they scare me. Quite frankly, I don't watch none of that haunted hospitals.
Ghost
sorry,
Hunters.
sorry Morgan,
Yeah.
but I don't, because it scares me.
Kindred Spirits, all these shows that are on.
No, I don't. It doesn't. That stuff really truly scares me because I believe it. So that stuff freaks me out.
Yeah. Hey, loves. Nicole, we don't do that when Cliff isn't here. That's Cliff's job. So that's why we haven't said anything. We leave that up to him. But honestly, I don't really have any urban legends that really freak me out, because I'm more interested in learning about them. You know,
Do you believe in
trying to learn
ghosts?
more. I do believe in ghosts.
Doesn't freak you out?
No, I do watch a lot of the ghost shows. And that's not to say that if I went on a paranormal investigation that I wouldn't be scared or nervous. I definitely would be, but I would also be interested because I'd want to see if we had, an experience happened, if you hear voices or something, right?
Podlie podcast field trip ghost hunting.
At the museum. So our museum here in Strathcona County, in Sherwood Park, does do paranormal tours at times, because they have had hauntings, and they've had people that work there have experiences. So that building used to be an old RCMP station way back, and it might have even been something before that. So there actually is an old cell in the basement of that building, the holding cell. And there are people that work there that said they have seen an apparition in that building, walking around, or even in the holding cell. So all that being said, I believe in ghosts, and I do watch a lot of the shows that are on. They all have their different techniques of hearing things.
You ever had any experiences?
Actually, we had an experience that was somewhat close in that museum, actually. That
Really?
same museum. So this was quite a few years ago. So we did a film. It was an independent film that we did, and we were shooting a scene there that we needed to make look old. So it was a bedroom. They used to have a bedroom in that museum. It was an older style, like a bedroom in a house. It's not there now. It's been moved. But anyway, we were using that bedroom type scene, and so our crew took an older mirror that was up on the wall. We needed to take it off because it would show camera and that kind of thing. So we said, take it off, be very careful with it, set it down, because we don't want to break anything. So they set it down very carefully. It was up against a wall, and left it there. Good spot. Nobody's going to touch it. It's not going to get broken, etc. So then we're getting ready. I think I can't remember if we did a rehearsal of the scene or whatever the case might be. All of a sudden, the mirror came out from the wall and landed on the floor.
Do you mean came out
like it kind
from
of
the wall and then?
Like kind of slid right out from the wall.
Or are you talking like?
No, it didn't fall over. It kind of slid away from the wall, came out and landed on the floor. And the frame broke a little bit. The mirror did not break, but the frame broke a little bit. We were all standing there. Okay, who just did that? Like, who moved the frame? So it wasn't like this is my phone. So it wasn't like we had it leaned against the wall like this, and it just it fell over like somebody kicked it. Nobody touched it. It was kind of like leaned against the wall, and then it just kind of got away and from the wall and came out onto the floor.
Very unnatural.
On that, and we all stood there and said, okay, who just did that to the mirror? And luckily, they said the mirror didn't break. I think the frame broke a little bit. We had to let the museum know, and the executive director at that time, who's not the one that we know, but I knew her at that time. She said, because we were apologizing, the frame broke a little bit, but the mirror came away from the wall we had.
And she's like,
and she goes,
good.
She goes, there's somebody here. She goes, she's experienced whoever that person was, and she's seen apparitions of people. So she goes, these kind of things happen in the building. So she wasn't like, what? You knocked my mirror down? No, we didn't do it. So
see, here's the I want to do this. I want to do this at Halloween now. My kids want to do it too. Actually, we've talked about it. I want to do like a ghost tour thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't watch them on TV because I live alone when my kids are not there. I live alone. I can't do it. I can't do it. Freaks the heck out of me.
Well, maybe that's something, we'll talk. I have a really good relationship with the Strathcona County Museum.
I know. I talked to Matt.
Yeah, and I've got a couple of other things happening with Matt, and I was at a couple of events with him and his crew just over the past couple of weeks, and I will maybe bring that up. Maybe it's something we can do one Wednesday night as a live stream. We'll have to do it off our phones, which will make it more realistic for sure. But maybe we can
be the Roberts Hookalak Witch Project.
maybe we can live stream a paranormal investigation there and see if we get any voices or see any activity. Like we might do it and nothing happens, but we might do it. And it was weird. I was actually watching a Ghost Hunter show last night, and this was really weird because they had brought in some extra investigators because it was quite a very large house that sat on land which used to be Indian land, I guess, back in the 1800s. And apparently some people did die in this house.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with old Indian burial grounds.
But some people had died in this house, and there's a lady by the name of Helen. And so there's one younger couple they brought in. I've not seen anybody do this before, but they, male and female, and they kind of channel their energy. So they go into a room and they kind of hold each other by the arms, and then they'll start saying, okay, if there's somebody here with us, please stomp a foot or make a knock for yes, and let us know that you're here, kind of thing. And so they started doing that, and this entity started. They would say, "Are you here?" Stomp. You'd hear the stomp, and then they would pick it up, and then they would say, "Okay, all right." So then they would try and test it further to see just to make sure that it wasn't a noise, right? So they would test it further, and they'd say, "Okay, so can you spell your name?" So she would go, and she goes, "What I want you to do is stomp at the letter when I get to it."
When you get to it.
So she would start going A, B, C, D. This particular ghost name apparently was Helen. That's who they were looking for, who died in the house, and also apparently had a young 10-day-old child who entity explains this to them by using the stomps and the letters, died around the age of 10 days old in this house back in the 1800s. But anyway, so she starts going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, stomp at H. Okay, so she goes A, B, D, C, stomp to D.
Dude, you're freaking me out right now.
So anyway, so it was replying via these stomps to everything that they were saying. Now they did also pick up some voices and some laughter.
Wow.
And one gentleman, that was, I think, like I said, I can't remember if it was a B&B or if it's like a museum type of thing now. But apparently there used to be one gentleman that worked there and had quite a distinct laughter, and he worked in one of the offices there, and they caught this kind of comment on their machines that they use for recording, and then somebody laughed, and so they played it back to one of the owners of this house and say, okay, we caught this. And the guy listened to it, and he said, that's exactly how this gentleman used to laugh in his office. And he, of course, passed away, and that was his laughter. Right. So obviously they're saying, well, obviously that gentleman decided he liked it there so much, that's where he would continue to hang out. So, hey, I watched Expedition Unknown last night. Yeah.
Love Josh Gates. Josh Gates,
yeah.
you're my hero. I love you, Josh Gates. Josh Gates, you can be a guest on this podcast anytime you want to. Expedition Unknown. And they were doing a whole bunch of these gizmos and gadgets, ghosts.
They have all this different equipment for recording.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called.
They pick up different energies. And
does it work?
Well, again, it's hard to say. Like Kindred Spirits, another ghost show that I watch. So they quite often do this test where they use what's called like a white noise generator. And so there's two of them, a guy and girl. So they'll go sit in a room if they want to see if they can make contact. One of them, they'll take turns, different episodes, but they'll put on a blindfold.
Yep.
They'll put on headphones. Yep. So all they hear is white noise.
Yeah.
The other person sits back and starts asking questions, like, hi, is so-and-so here with us tonight, or can you answer? And so they're listening and getting replies in the headphones. So if they hear anything, like somebody saying yes or no, or I don't want you to be here, or leave, or even my name is so-and-so.
Crazy business,
and they'll get all this information. And sometimes it's really interesting. Other times it's really freaky because the entity that they're talking to is angry. right? So it's like, get out of here. I don't want to talk to you guys. Like, what are you doing? Like, or some questions they get is like, what is this? And so they have to explain it. Well, we're recording, and they're getting this information popping in to their headphones through the energy of these. So yeah, as Nicole said, it could be an interesting podcast. So maybe that's something we look at in the near future.
I love that
to
stuff.
see if we can attempt it, to see if we could do it with our phones and live stream a paranormal walkthrough one night at the museum here.
I'm freaked out by it. But
yeah, and if you hear the loud screaming like a girl, that's just Paul in the background.
That would be me. You know what though? Okay, so story number 2 from my parents. True story, so they say. True story. Out of body experiences. Oobies. Okay. My mom and dad before kids. A lot that happened to my mom and dad before kids. Apparently.
Everything calmed down after they had kids.
Everything calmed down after they had kids.
Were they at Woodstock?
Yeah, right. No. Well, if they were, they wouldn't remember anyway. So they are conscious. They're awake. They're talking to each other in bed, side by side, like this. They both at the same time start to raise above the bed.
Your mom and dad?
Yeah, true story. Same time.
Wow.
Out of body experience times 2. I have heard of out of body experiences as an individual. I've never heard of it as a twosome. My mom and dad together, consciously, both of them, had an out of body experience. I guess together. Yep.
Wow.
My mom and dad are freaky people, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, having thought about all this, my wife Chai had an experience in an old building that she was working at, which used to be a convent of nuns. And I think one or two nuns, one nun for sure, had passed away at old age at that convent. And so they would call her Sister Mary. And my wife did have, working there one evening, where she saw an apparition at the end of a hallway. And I think Chai would have to explain it more than I would, but I seem to remember her saying it looked like she was dressed like a sister, like a nun. And she apparently other people had seen her as well. She wasn't scary. She was more so like, hey, this is my convent, just here to say, hello to people and make sure things are good here and that kind of stuff, right? So it wasn't that it was here to cause problems like you hear on some of these ghost shows, right? Where people are going and saying, they're standing there and all of a sudden they get scratched. Right, and you look down at their arm, and there's scratches on their arm. And
isn't that Stigmata? That was a great movie.
Yeah, well, so there is that where people have had these so-called violent entities where you get pushed or shoved or especially scratched. And I've seen it on a couple of the shows where camera guys and stuff are going, I just got something just touched me or scratched, and you look down at they show their arm, and all of a sudden they got these red scratch marks down their arm. So what did that? Was it the ghost, the energy just saying, hey, get out of my room?
Yeah.
So this is the only way I can show it to you. I'm gonna scratch you.
Prince, if you're listening, you can haunt me. Gord Downey, if you're listening, you can haunt me anytime you want to.
Yeah.
Prince, you can haunt me anytime you want to.
Yeah. So anyway, that might be.
I agree. I believe it. Stuff like that freaks me out. Although I do believe that most of them are benevolent.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that they're just lost. I do believe they're lost between this realm and the next.
They don't know how to get out.
Limbo.
They don't know how to make that cross.
That's right. And I do believe that most of them are benevolent.
Yeah.
So,
or like I said, it could be ones that they died in a place that they loved or were always nearby, and for them, that their soul decided, or that energy decided to stay there because that's just was what was known to them, and that's what they loved, and they didn't want to leave there. And sometimes it takes that push to say you can leave here, it's okay. But sometimes I think when you watch a lot of these shows, and it always seems to be their specific, when people have these people come in to do these investigations, it's always because we're getting scared because we've got this issue with things happening or people getting pushed or whatever. So we've got a violent ghost, or you find out as they go on, or they are able to make, contact with this energy where they're getting a few words here and there that, it's just somebody who, you find out, yeah, this was my place, this was my house before they moved here, or I worked here for, 40 years. And it's kind of like, they don't want to leave, right? They want to be in their workspace, I'm
going to haunt a Pizza Hut.
All right. Did you ever work at a Pizza Hut?
No, but I love pizza.
so you're going to help yourself to pizza. When when the pizza guys are in there cooking at 1 o'clock in the morning, getting those pizzas out to the parties, you're going to be throwing pizza boxes around.
Do the spinning.
Spinning, yeah. So they'll look over and they'll just see the dough spinning by itself.
Haunting a Pizza Hut. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, spinning all by itself.
I don't know. I believe in that stuff, my brother. I believe in
Yeah.
that stuff. You know what? It's sad because if they are benevolent, which I believe they are mostly benevolent, and they are lost, I think that's sad
Mm-hmm.
because they've left the ones that they love in this earthly plane, and they can't get to the ones that they love.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely interesting.
Back to Sasquatches and Yetis. I saw it on man, Discovery's great. They found a Yeti skull.
Oh,
See that one?
no, I don't recall that.
Yeah,
one.
they found a Yeti skull. Found a Yeti skull. It was in Tibet. It was in a Tibet monastery,
Mhm.
and it was they were.
I think I did hear something about that. And they're trying to determine
nobody ever wanted to see it, and they finally some
if it was actually. But were they trying to determine if it was real or not?
They were trying to determine if it's real. It has since been determined to be. Can't remember, but an animal.
So they haven't figured it out yet.
No, Yeti, nice. They
Hope you saw what I did there.
I did
Yeah.
see that. I like that.
Yeah.
They have. So it's a hoax. It's a hoax. But here's the problem with that. Here lies the problem. It's been in a monastery. This supposed Yeti skull has been in a monastery, and it's been prized for hundreds of years. It's been encased in a gold, whatever,
Mhm.
right? Science has just debunked it, and now you got to feel bad for the monks that are
100 years ago, yeah,
that are prizing this. I don't know.
who thought they actually had a real Yeti.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Yeah.
I think it's that.
Well, it's the same. What is it in Banff, in that museum? I don't know if you've ever been in the museum in Banff, but they have a half person, half fish in there.
Yes.
That was apparently caught.
when I as a kid.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was ever proven to not be real. Like when you look at it, and it's been a few years since I've been in there to see it, but I have seen it. I don't. In looking at it, and again, I'm not a biologist or a scientist by any means, but it doesn't look like it was built as a prop. So it's an interesting thing, and I can't remember. It was caught back in like the 1800s or something. They caught in one of the lakes up there. Somebody caught it.
Well, why wouldn't there be hybrids?
They could
Why
be.
couldn't there be hybrids? There has to be hybrid. There should be hybrids.
That could.
There should be more hybrids, as far as I'm concerned.
Could very well be. Look at Groot.
Look at Groot.
Look
at Groot.
New Guardians of the Galaxy movie's out.
Did you go?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I've heard it from most people. I've heard have said it's really good.
Pretty good. Yeah,
but,
we're gonna go.
But yeah, there's got to be things out there that, again, like you said, we're discovering new things every day, and as technology changes, and we've talked technology quite a bit lately on the show, and it's getting more and more accurate, and things that they can test that they were never able to test, even 10 years ago. There's technology out there now. They're able to test things out. So maybe some point down the road, we will find a big hair sample, because they bring back hair samples. And I think I've only seen a couple of occasions where they said undetermined what that hair is, but they don't say it's a Bigfoot.
What amazes me, and for those of you that love the unknown, except for ghosts, and the disproven or the still not yet proven, like I do, there's still so much in this world to be discovered. And there's if I hear a lot of people say, oh, there's nothing left, there's no wonder left in this world. That's not true. You got to go out and explore.
Yeah,
go out
there's
and
things
explore.
out there, yeah.
Go out in your backyard, go out in the river valley, go out along the river with caution, please, with caution. But oh my gosh, there's so much. Go look for gold or go. So much. I don't believe that. There's no wonder left in the world.
But here's what I always wonder. So say on Expedition Bigfoot, like all of a sudden, sometimes they get really excited because they think they're tracking something, so they're running through the bush, and then they don't find anything.
Yep.
But what if you all of a sudden walked up and you're face to face with a Sasquatch? Like, what do? Do you hold out your hand?
Okay.
And say, "My name is Bill. Good fine, good to meet you. Like, what do? You can't really high five if it's like 8 feet tall. At least I couldn't.
So okay. So no joke. My cousin's husband's brother
Met a Sasquatch?
got killed by a bear. Like literally.
Oh.
Literally. Yeah. No
Wow.
joke. Literally did.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but that doesn't add. Like, what do you do if you walk into a Sasquatch standing there?
Well,
Do you introduce yourself? Like,
I'm assuming that kind of answers your question, and then that you don't get out. You don't get out. True story. He got. I don't know the story. I don't know where they were.
Are you filming at this point with
You don't get out.
your whatever filming device that you have? And so you mean you don't get to pull out your hand and shake hands and say, "Hi, my name's Bill. This is Paul. We're from the Podlie podcast."
It's like shaking the Louis DeBrusque hand. Did I ever tell you that when I met Louis DeBrusque? He's got huge hands.
Louis DeBrusque is a big gentleman. Yeah.
So the bare hands. Wow, he's got big hands. Holy mackerel.
So Nicole says that's insane. I'm assuming that's insane if we were to actually meet one in person, a Sasquatch.
No, yeah. Well, I'm assuming it's my cousin's husband's.
Oh, by the bear.
Legit.
Yes.
Dead. Legit. Yeah. Died.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't shake the hand, and I've had a lot of bear encounters over my years of camping.
Have you?
There was a particular area that we would go every long weekend, even when I was a kid. So it'd be all my dad's family. Everybody would get together. It was up in Prairie Creek, which is up by Rocky, just past Rocky, and it was always a small little campground that we stayed in. And it was kind of like everybody would bring their tent trailers or trailers, and we'd all put everything in a circle. And we'd have all of our stuff in the center. And we had numerous bear encounters there, where bears would come in. We'd be sitting around the campfire in the evening and turn around, and there'd be a bear walking past our trailers because they'd smell the fire and the food, right? I remember another time sitting around the campfire, and everybody's kind of chatting, and one of the uncles looking said, "Okay, everybody, just relax. Let's not move too much." But there's a bear standing up. He was up on his hind legs with his feet on top of one of the tent trailers, kind of overlooking to see what everybody was doing. And so everybody just starts banging their pots and pans and whatever, and you scare them away. So we've had a few, or at night, right? You get into the trailer there at night and getting ready to bed down kind of thing. And during that, you could hear them kind of snuffing and walking around.
I've only seen one bear in the wild. That's it. And I've wanted to another one. I've always wanted to, but from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
So
these were not from a distance. They were pretty close.
They were. I've never. I saw it from the distance. I was in the car. 4 minutes. 3 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes left. Bill, aliens. Go.
I'm also a believer in aliens and UFOs and all that. And finally, well, I know that the U.S. government, I think in the past year, has finally come out with reports to say that they have released publicly after all these years to say yes, there are, and more so reports that they've released saying that yes, there have been definitely encounters with unidentified flying objects, etc., that have been proven through Air Force pilots and things like that have encountered them while flying, or commercial jet pilots, etc., that have seen things. So I do believe that there are aliens out there. Do I believe that there? You hear people saying that there's aliens on Earth right now walking around amongst us. Is that true? Could very well be. I think there's planets out that we're not the only planet that I don't believe that has life on it. I think there's planets out there that maybe have far more intelligent life than we have. So
Carl Sagan said, and this is from the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. Wonderful movie, very long but wonderful movie.
Mm-hmm.
In relation to if there's life out in the universe, Carl Sagan said, well, if there isn't, that would be an awful waste of space.
Yeah, I think there is. So on that note, we only got 30 seconds left. Cliff, as we said, was not able to be here tonight. So usually he talks about making sure you get out there and rewatch this podcast. So if you didn't see it tonight and there's a few people not here,
I'll be there.
There you go. Go to our YouTube channel and you can rewatch it, the replay, along with the comments. Also, again, if you got friends and that kind of thing, get them to subscribe. It's easy.
If you got friends.
Click subscribe, click on the little bell so you get notifications when we go live. That's really easy. We're up to 32 subscribers now, which I know is not a lot yet, but it's definitely more than where we're at. So we have grown over the past little bit. So do that. And also, if you want to hear just the audio, 10 o'clock every Friday night, soundsugarradio.com. You can tune in and just hear the audio portion of the podcast as well. So everybody, 152 is done. We'll be back next week, and Cliff at that point should be with us. I don't know what the topic will be yet, but we'll have something for you.
Well, tune in for a potentially clothing optional episode next week.
That should be interesting. And it'll probably be just Paul. All right, everybody.
Am I doing the show?
Are you going to be here next week?
Apparently.
There you go. All right, everybody. Have a good week. We'll see you all next week for episode 153.
Bye.